Hi, it's Dominic from the MS Guide. I'm on croaky because I've got COVID, and I thought I'd make this short video because I have had a devil of a time getting a hold of the antivirals, and it used to be easy because COVID was more of a thing, and now it seems to have slid to the background in many people's, or I don't know, the NHS or whatever. What I'm about to tell you applies to NHS England, because if you're watching this from outside the UK is 4 different countries. England is just one of them. So you have Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And I know they all do it slightly differently. And a patient said to me on Twitter that in Scotland that they got it much more quickly than me. But anyway, this is the thing. If you've got COVID, if you test positive with COVID, which I did on Monday, today's Wednesday. By the way, I was at the MS Society Research Conference the previous Thursday and Friday, though I don't think I caught it there. I'm pretty sure I caught it on the train full of people who I think were coming back or going to a festival or something. But on a train, get stuck in a nice tightly constrained tube with people for several hours. And I'm pretty sure that I did it because I felt a bit rough on Saturday night and Sunday. Then I was feeling particularly rubbish, so I tested on Monday and went, oh. And I had a pretty strong line come up. But, anyway, I'm on an at-risk list. So if you're on immunosuppressants like I am, you have been put in the past times on COVID on an at-risk list. And you kind of think it would just sort of stick there. But that whole feeling, it seems to be, of at-risk patients is gone. And I'll explain why I was so lucky. But I ended up speaking to somebody in the profession that was at risk and really took it to heart. Anyhow, I rang NHS 111, which is what you're supposed to do when you get COVID. And apart from having the first guy being really rude to me because I got my birth date back to front, I'm half Canadian and I'm feeling pretty rubbish. And he said, oh, we don't do it like this in this country. You should know better. And I know I'm getting older, but I bridled and said, young man, and you should not speak to people like that. I'm not feeling great. And then he was asking me some other questions and was driving me for an answer on one. I can't remember. I said, look, I'm not entirely sure how to, you've got to tell me an answer. And I said, oh, I don't know. I wonder what my neurologist would say. And he said, well, you don't want to listen to your neurologist, and which made me laugh because I thought they've probably got a little bit more medical training than he does. But anyway, that was an aberration. I got put through. He said, right, a medical person is going to call you back. And about half an hour later, a nurse called back and said, oh, no, we don't do antivirals anymore. 111 doesn't do antivirals anymore. It's all down to your GP. So I rang my GP and they said, oh, well, you can't speak to a doctor now. We'll have to put you in for a call. And this is all happening on Monday, and so the call was scheduled for between 8:30 and 12:30 on Tuesday. And I'm thinking this is all just, ticking along, and the idea is to get the antivirals into as soon as possible. So I then rang back 111 because the GP's practice said, no, it's not us, it's 111. And again got triaged. And then a medical person rang me back, and it was a nurse. And we were talking, and I said, look, I'm not mad at you. I just want to understand because I'm piggy in the middle. Everybody keeps throwing it one way and the other. No, it's not me. Speak to them. And I said to her, it's kind of frustrating because I just want to get the antivirals. And she said, oh, I've got rheumatoid arthritis. I think people with long-term medical conditions are being overlooked now. Because she was also, we got chatting, she was also on an immunosuppressant therapy, and said to me, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to make some calls. I'll get back to you, and but I'm not going to let this drop. And so she went away, and then wham, I get a phone call later on. This is still on Monday, from my local hospital, which turns out has a COVID at home unit or something. Essentially, folks, these still exist in hospitals. And I got sent the same day antivirals. Paxlovid in my case, because I didn't have an infusion. I got antivirals. So they spoke to me, a doctor spoke to me, was happy that they prescribed them, Then the pharmacist from there rang back because the pharmacist has to ask me questions, and they came in a sort of that all turned up with a courier, bang, the same day, in a bag. Oh gosh, you can't see that. It's terrible. Hang on. Oh my God. It doesn't like it, does it? I'm really sorry. But in a bag, I got a leaflet saying virtual ward telephone support. I got a whole self-monitoring COVID diary, and I got the antivirals. And they're going to call in. Oh, and the other thing is, even though I've got one, they sent me a pulse oximeter so I could measure my blood oxygen rate, so I could see, because you don't want your blood oxygen to go ideally below 98 if you're healthy, below I think 95 if you're not, and below 92 is of a particular concern. But they detail it all in those leaflets. But the point is, I then ran back to GP and said, oh, well, I've got it from 111. And they were all like, oh, essentially it's so frustrating. Everybody's thinking that it's everybody else or is blaming everybody else. Nobody seemed that interested. I was very, very lucky that I got called back by that nurse who said, yeah, I'm paraphrasing, you know, that sucks. I'll get onto it. And she did. And it was by luck, not sort of procedure or judgment, I think, that I ended up with antivirals in my 24 hours after I tested positive. So I tested positive about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the Monday, and the antivirals turned up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the Thursday. It was just astonishing, because when it works really well. But the thing to take away from this is your hospital, certainly I'm within the bounds of a teaching hospital called the John Radcliffe, but if you've got a teaching hospital, that may be it. But if not, most hospitals apparently still have some sort of COVID at home unit. And some places, I have a friend in Worcestershire, and they work in the NHS, they're quite senior, and said, no, it's all from the GP. But it turns out in their area, it's all from the GP. In my area, I got lucky, but I sort of pressed it home with 111. So I'm just telling you this. I'm not sure I have a definitive answer for you, but just plug away at it. Hopefully you'll get the antivirals, because I feel so much better today. I've only had 2 doses of them so far, but I can actually make a video, and I'm just croaking a bit and a bit snotty and stuff. But I think I might even go out for a walk outside just to stretch my legs, because I don't like sitting at home the whole time. And one of the things that came out of the MS Society Research Conference was the most underprescribed thing for MS is exercise. It's just, I think not everyone gives it the credit it deserves, because it's not a pill. But anyway, that's something for another day. So, yay to the Paxlovid. It really makes a difference. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen it before, it comes in, there's a morning and an evening dose. And it's 3 pills, 1, 2, 3, each dose. So there's 3 pills at a time. And it's 2 different antiviral drugs called nirmatrelvir and ritonavir, for what it's worth. But I don't really care about the names, because it makes me feel so much better. Anyway, any questions or comments, please leave them on the video. I have a Patreon if you do want to help out with the channel, because I don't take external funding. That would be really kind as well. It's less than a cup of coffee a month. But other than that, just keep on watching. Take care. Bye-bye.